This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, source of supply. The topics that we are going to cover. The topics that we are going to cover in source of supply, they are, we will see what are the different types of purchase info records. What are the different types of purchase info records we have. We see what is cross plant and plant specific purchase info records. How the conditions are maintained in the purchase info records. We will see what is buyer's negotiation sheet. Okay, then we will see different types of contracts. Okay, then we will see central and plant specific contracts. How to maintain item categories in the contracts, we will see. Then we will understand about contract release orders, and then we will see scheduling agreements. So these are the topics we will be covering in the source of supply. Okay, so what is source of supply? Okay, for defining relationships between materials and vendors in the system, data records are to be maintained. Okay, these data records are generally referred to as source of supply. So when you are creating a purchase info a purchase order, when you are creating a purchase order for a material and a supplier, a vendor, I want the data to be come from a particular sources. Okay, like price, delivery date. So those things has to come by from a particular source. So those sources are called source of supply. Source of supply. Okay, so outline agreement is a long-term purchasing agreement with vendor containing terms and conditions regarding the material that is supplied by vendor. So there is an outline agreement. There is an outline agreement. This outline agreement will contain a agreement between the vendor with our purchasing department. So that is it's a purchasing agreement. Okay, so possible sources of supply are purchase information record, purchase info record, outline purchase agreements like contracts and scheduling agreements. We will discuss all these things in detail. Okay, so purchase information record. What is purchase information record? It contains data on a certain material and supplier of this material. Okay, purchase info record will contain information about a particular material and supplier of that particular material. Okay, coming to outline agreements, other outline agreements are, you have contracts, and you have scheduling agreements. We will discuss all these things in the system. Okay, first we'll start with the these are the sources of supply. Whenever you create a purchase order, your purchase order can refer to a info record, purchase information record, or it can refer to a outline agreement like contract, for a particular contract with the vendor, or a scheduling agreement with the vendor. So these are the possible sources of supply where system can refer when you are creating a purchase order. Okay, so let's start with the purchase info record. What is purchase information record? Purchase info records are information about terms for purchasing a specific material from a vendor. Okay, so the purchase information record will contain information for a particular material and vendor combination. Okay, they are maintained for vendor and material combination and can contain data for pricing and conditions, over delivering, under delivering, limits, planned delivery date, and availability period. So basically here you will have information for a combination of material and a vendor. Okay, there are 4 types of info records: standard, subcontracting, pipeline, and consignment. Today we will create standard info record. Remaining info records we will see in the later classes. Okay, the purchase info record is an important source of information for the buyer. It's for the purchaser, the purchasing officer, he will have a source of information from this purchasing info record. Okay, so when creating the purchasing documents, the data from the info record is copied into the document as default values. So whenever you are creating a purchase order, if the purchase info record exists, the data from the purchase info record will get copied to the purchase order. Okay, so this is a one. So basically purchase info record will contain information for a combination of material and a vendor. Okay, like what is the price when you procure this material from this vendor, what is the price, okay, and what is the freight charges, what is the discount, all that information you will maintain in the purchase info record. Okay, so the scenario is like this. Let's say in your company you have a material. Okay, let's say the material is ABC 123. The same material is procured from, let's say, different vendors. Let's say vendor A, vendor A, vendor A, vendor B, vendor B, and vendor C, and vendor and what do you call vendor C. Okay, the same material is procured from three different suppliers. So when the same material is procured from vendor A, this vendor charges, let's say, 80 euros per piece. Let's assume a scenario. Okay, per piece. Now same material when it's procured from vendor B, this vendor B charges 75 euros per piece. Okay, now same material when it is procured from vendor C, he charges, let's say, 78 euros per piece. Now when you are creating the PO, I want this price to come by default into the purchase order. Okay, so during that scenario you go for purchase info record. So in the purchase info record of this ABC and vendor A, you maintain this specific price. So when you create a PO for ABC 123, ABC 123 and combination of vendor A, system automatically fetch the price 80 euros. System will automatically fetch the price provided you create a purchase info record for this combination. Okay, so that is the use of purchasing info record. Okay, so in the purchase info record you maintain the data in various sections. You maintain in general data some data, and you maintain some data in the purchasing data tab screen, and you maintain condition data like price and everything, discount, and you can maintain some texts also. So in the purchasing, for the structure of a purchase info record is divided into four sections: general data, purchasing data, conditions data, and text. So whenever you are creating a purchase info record, system will read some data from material master record and vendor master record it will propose, which you can overwrite. And even you can create a purchase info record with referring to a quotation, outline agreement, or with referring to a already existing purchase order also. Okay, this I will show you in later point of time. Okay, so now to create the purchase order, the transaction codes are like this. To create the purchase info record, the transaction codes are ME11. ME11 is creation, ME12 is change, and ME13 is the display. These are the transaction codes. Okay, so now let's create a purchase info record in the system. Okay, I'm logging on to the system. Okay, I logged on to the system. So go to logistics, materials management, purchasing. Okay, master data, you have info record. So open it. Here you have M11 create info record. This is a screen where you create info record. You can create three types of info records, four types: standard, subcontracting, pipeline, and consignment, which I have shown you previously. Standard, subcontracting, pipeline, and consignment. But as of now, today we will create only standard info record. So here purchase info record is created for a combination of vendor, material, purchase organization, and plant combination. Okay, so I'll take a vendor from our this thing. Okay, we will take this vendor. Alliance Global 100646. This is a vendor. I will take a material which is already there. I'm taking a raw material. Okay, I will take this one, this hydrochloric acid. This one I'm taking. Okay, so I'll take this material. So enter the material code. Purchase organization I'm using 1000. Okay, and plant always I'm using 1000 plant. Plant is also 1000. So I'm creating info record for this vendor and for this material combination. Now enter. Okay, so I'll put it in a my material is now my material is this one. This is my material. Okay, this material, and my vendor is 100646. Okay, so here if you see, the moment I enter inside, you see create info record general data. We are here now. It is we are maintaining the general data. We are maintaining the general data. Okay, here you can maintain the vendor material number. Vendor material number means this is our material number in our organization material number. In the vendor at his site, he may have his own number. Let's I'll maintain it as 712345. This is vendor material number. I'm just entering randomly. Okay, now you can enter other unit. Just 1 minute, or just give me 1 minute. I'll make some changes in the material master. Just give me 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Okay, unnecessary confusion. Okay, let me start again afresh. Start again freshly. Okay, again I'm creating. Enter. Okay, so now I'm creating this info record for this vendor and this material combination. So my vendor is 100646. So we are on the general data screen. Here I enter the vendor material number. Okay, you can enter other data. You can enter the other data. Now next is you go to purchasing data, purchase organization data. So click on the button purchasing organization data, one tab. Click on that button. Now we are on the purchasing organization data one. Here by default system is proposing planned delivery days time as 4 days. So from where this planned delivery time 4 days is coming? This is coming from the material master. That is why I told you, whenever you are creating a info record, system will first propose the data from the material master record and vendor master record, where you can overwrite the data. See, as of now the planned delivery time is coming by default. Okay, so if you go to the material master of the material, if you go to display, if you go to the purchasing tab, if you go to the purchasing data tab, this is the one purchasing, that's okay. If you go to MRP2 view, see here we maintained planned delivery time as 4 days. Planned delivery time. That is why system by default proposing here in the info record as 4 days. But let's say this vendor supplies this material in, let's say, 5 days. So I enter 5 days. I'm overwriting the data. Now the next one is you maintain the price. Here you see you have to maintain the price. So let's say I'll maintain the price as 80, or let's put this as INR. Okay, let's put this as INR. 80 INR per piece or liter. Here in our case it is liter. Okay, so I'll maintain it as 80. Enter. Okay, purchasing group, it's okay, enter. So I maintained the price. Now you can go to the next one is conditions. You can maintain some conditions. Okay, so just click on the button condition. Now here you can maintain. See, as of now the gross price is maintained 80 INR. This is valid from today's date to this date. Okay, you can maintain some other ones, some discount. Let's say I'll maintain some discount. I'll maintain some discount percentage on grass. Okay, so I'll maintain 2%. So I maintain that. Now go back. So this is a place where you maintain the gross price. Now go back. Okay, now you can maintain some text. Okay, so click on the button text. Okay, you can write some text over here. Okay, you can write some text over here. Okay, or material is supplied. Just you can write some information to the vendor. Material to be supplied in drums. Okay, so I'm just writing some remarks. DRUMs. Okay, or I'll put this also in the same text. I'll put it here also. So I maintain the data. So you can maintain some text information for the buyer. Okay, so now we maintain all the data. We maintain general data, whatever you want. You conditions we maintained, conditions nothing but prices. Okay, and then we maintained what do you call? If you go back, we maintained texts also. Now here, one more option is if you go to the conditions, you can maintain scale prices also. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll delete this discount as of now. Okay, so now this price is for any quantity. This price is for any whatever the quantity you procure from that supplier, it applies this price. Now let's say quantity specific, I want to maintain the price. So if you go here, there is a button called scales. Are you able to see? There is a button called scales. Click on that button. Now you can maintain scale wise prices. Let's say when I procure up to 50, okay, my price should be 70. Okay, enter. Okay, when I procure from 50 to 100, my price should be 65. Okay, now when I procure above 150, it should be 60. Okay, in a below 50, it should be 80. So this kind of scale prices also you can enter in the info record. Okay, now go back. Now I am saving the info record. I am saving the purchase info record. So this is how now the purchase info record got created. Now let's go to display. Change mode. Okay, let's go to display. So now let's go to display. Now we will see the effect of purchase order. This purchase info record effect we will see. So whenever you are creating a PO for this vendor and this material combination in that particular plant, system will read the data from the info record and it will propose everything. Conditions, it will propose the conditions and everything it will propose. So now I'll create a PO. I'll be creating a purchase order ME21M. This already we discussed in the previous class how to create a PO. So let me enter the vendor. I'm entering a vendor. Enter. Okay, enter the purchase org, purchasing group, company code. I entered. Okay, now I'm entering the material. So what is our material? Material is this. Our material is this one. Okay, our material is this one. So let's enter the material. Okay, let me enter the material. Now let me enter the quantity as 30. Okay, my plant is 1000. Okay, now enter. See what happened here. System automatically proposing the price from the info record 80 INR. So system is automatically proposing 80 because we have maintained. If you go to the conditions, we maintained 80. Of course, till 50 it is 80 INR per liter. So system is automatically reading the info record and it is proposing the price here. And even if you see the delivery date, it is proposing 25th. 5 days from today's date. It is proposing the delivery date also. Okay, so this is how system will read the info record. Now if you go to the text, there is a tab called text here. If you go to the text, see, you can see whatever the data we maintained in the info record, material to be supplied in drums, it is automatically coming over here. Are you able to see? It is coming automatically. So whenever you are creating the PO for that vendor and material combination, provided if you have info record, system will read the info record and it will propose you all the data. So that for the purchasing officer, no need to enter all this data again and again. Okay, so this is the use of purchase info record. Now, suppose let's say I will not change this. Now I will increase the quantity to 60 liter. Now the moment I increase it 60 liter, you see what will happen. See, the moment I increase the 60 liter, system has changed the price to 70 INR. Because in the scale prices, if you go to the scales, from 50 to 100, my price should be 70 liter per INR, 70 INR per liter. That is why system by default, it is now proposing 70. Now if I change this quantity to 120, now you see. Now system is proposing the price as 65. Okay, so based on the scale price you maintained, system will read it and it will propose you the price in the purchase order. Okay, so this is the importance of info record. So this is what, whenever you create a purchase order, system will check whether info record exists or not. If yes, system will read the info record and it will propose all the price and everything into the PO. And if there is no info record, then system will search if there are already any existing purchase orders, and it will propose the data from the last purchase order. And if there is no info record, and if there is no last purchase order, then if both conditions are not satisfied, then if there is nothing is there, then you have to enter the price manually. User has to enter the price manually in the purchase order. So this is how system, whenever you are creating the PO, system will look for the data in the system. Okay, so now let's move on. This is what, now whenever you are, now info record we have created as of now for a vendor, material and purchase organization and plant combination. So whatever the price you maintain, system will copy that price to the purchase order. Sometimes you can maintain a info record for a vendor, material and purchasing combination only, no plant. So in that case, whenever you create a purchase order, whatever the plants belongs to this purchase organization, for all those plants the price will get copied. So that means you are creating a centralized info record here without referring to any plant. That means on the screen, I'll go back. So again, when you are creating the info record, okay, here you don't give the plant. Only give vendor, material and purchase organization, you enter. So now we are creating a centralized info record. That also can be done. Okay, so according to that, it will propose the price into the purchase order. Okay, suppose if you see here, for this vendor and material 1 in the purchase organization, in the plant 3000, they maintained price as 9. So when you create purchase order for this combination, it will propose you the price as 9. Whereas you have one more info record for same vendor A, material 1 in the purchase organization 1000, but there is no plant. That time the price is 10. So when you create purchase order in other plant, system will read this info record and it will propose you the price. Okay, so both ways are possible. Okay, now next one, what are the options for maintaining the info records? So info records can be maintained in two ways. Okay, you can manually create or change an info record for a purchasing organization or plant. Either you can create manually, which I have shown you, the transaction M11, or you can change by going to ME12. That is a manual method. Now one more thing is, you can create purchase info records automatically also. Purchase info records can also be created or updated automatically by setting the info update indicator when maintaining a quotation, purchase order or outline agreement. So purchase info records can be created automatically also. Okay, so I'll show you that. This is a one manual which we have discussed just now. or it can be created automatically from a PO, quotation, or outline agreement. I'll show you that how to create automatically. Okay, suppose let's take us another vendor. Let us take another vendor. Okay, so before that, automatic update, that is okay. So let's create manual ones we already discussed. Now automatic ones we will discuss. So let's take one more vendor. If I go to M11, if I go to M11, this vendor we already have. I'll take one more vendor. So this vendor we have. Let's say we have plus chemicals 100649. So suppose if I go to 100649, we have this vendor. Okay, this is a vendor. Now for this vendor and for this material, there is no info record. Suppose if I try to display, what is a new vendor? 100649. Now if I go to plant 1000, if I enter, see, system says no info record for vendor and material does not exist. So it is not there. Now instead of creating manually, you can create from the one of the documents which I showed you, either PO or from a PO or a quotation or an outline agreement. So I'll show you how to create that. So if I go to, I'll try to create a PO, ME21N. I'll use a new vendor now. 100649. Enter the vendor. Enter the purchase of purchasing group, company code, material. I'll enter the material. Okay, I'm entering the material. I enter some quantity into this plant 1000. Enter. See, now as there is no info record, you have to maintain the price. So let's say I'll maintain the price as 50 INR per liter. I maintained this. Now if you go here, you see there is an indicator called info update. Are you able to see? There is an indicator called info update. Now when I save this purchase order, system in the background automatically will create a info record for this vendor and this material combination. System will automatically create. Now let's check. Okay, I'll check. Let me save this. Okay, so I created a PO. Now using this PO, system automatically in the background, now it will create a purchase info record. So let's check that. I'll go back. Okay, what was the vendor? This is a new vendor. This is a material. Okay, now let's check. See, now the automatically the info record got created in the background. Automatically it got created. Okay, so now if you go to the purchase order data, it got created. Only thing is price is not updated. You have to update the price over here. So I'll update the price. Text you have to maintain, because in the PO there is no text, so you have to maintain the text. So that is how system will create the info records in the background automatically. Okay. Now the next one we will be discussing is automatic and info record updates. Now purchase info records can also be updated manually. So let's say you go to the transaction, you have this info record. Okay, I'll save this. Now if you want to change some data, you go to change, and here you can update the data as per your requirement. Let's say I want to change the price. Go to conditions. Let's say I want to put a new price. So put the cursor here, click on the button create with new reference, with new validity period. Okay, so let's say for the next till this year, let us put up to till this year, what do you call, 31/12/2018, my price should be, let's say 55 IN. So I maintain two prices from today's date to till this date. This is the price, and after that the price will be 50. So that kind of condition valid related prices also you can maintain. So now I am saving this. So this way you can maintain. Okay, you can update. Now the other method is you can update the info records automatically from a purchase order, or from a quotation, provided you activate this indicator info update. So whenever you do activate this info update, system will automatically update the prices, everything into the info record. Let's say your current price is some let's say 450 INR or euros per piece. Okay, now in the quotation or purchase order you enter the new price. So when you activate this info update, this new price will get updated into the purchase info record. That's what will happen. So to do this info record automatic update, you have to do some settings in the system. Okay, so basically there is a configuration called create profile. This create profile is there. In this create profile you have to maintain the setting, and this create profile setting, whatever the profile you create, that has to, you have to assign it to the user in the user parameters. I'll show you this is a configuration. Actually we will discuss configuration later point of time, but here you need to understand the configuration. Go to SPRO, SAP reference IMG. Okay, so go to materials management, open it. Okay, materials management, go to purchasing. Okay, go to purchasing, then go to environment data. Okay, here default values for buyers. Here you go, default values, define default values for buyers. If you go here, settings for default values, if you go here you have some default values already. Okay, if you go here, go to details, you have this one. Okay, so what I will do is I'll create a brand new one. Click on new entries. I'll create a brand new one. I'll enter my name 7_new. I'll create this one. Now here info record update indicator is there. Here if you see the list, no update, update with or without plant. Okay, update with plant, if no plant ban, update without plant. You have three options. So as of now I'll put update with or without plant A. Okay, enter. Now save this default value profile. Okay, it's a configuration. It will ask for a transport request. Okay, continue. Local request or not transport. Okay, not a problem. Okay, that's okay. Now this default value profile you will be assigning to your user parameters. So every user will have a user parameter. Okay, every user will have an ID. For that ID you will assign a user profile. So in that you will maintain this parameter. Okay, so I'll show you that. So let's say my ID is what is my ID? QM user. This is my user ID. So if you go to SU01, my ID is QM user. Go enter your ID, go to change mode. You are not authorized. This is a problem here. Okay, this I cannot show. I think they have not okay, SU01. This is a problem. I cannot display. Okay, I'll show it in display, but it is not allowing to change. I think you're not authorized to change users in group. Okay, anyhow I'll show you that. If you go to parameters, here you will add that parameter. Okay, you will add that parameter here. You will add that parameter as EVO. Enter the parameter as EVO and the value as SA, which I have just created. So once you do that, what happens is, when you create a PO, in the PO, if this automatic info update will be there, and that will update the prices or whatever the conditions to the info record. That's what happened. I wanted to show, but I cannot enter here. This is a training system, right? So they have not given me the authorization to change my group. Okay. So, but this is the place where you assign that parameter value. So once you do that, you can automatically update the info records from a purchase order or a quotation. That is also can be done. Okay. So now the next thing we'll be discussing is info record for material group. Okay. So you can create an info record for a material group also. That means without a material. Okay. So suppose let's say you have a vendor, you have a purchase organization, of course you have the plant, but you don't know the material. There are some materials in common. For them, the price is always same. Price is always same. Like some office supplies or some notepad something. So let's say your office materials, let's say your what do you call papers, notebooks or something. Always price remains the same. So now instead of maintaining info record for each material separately, you can maintain info record for a material group also. Okay, so I'll show you material group. I'll take a material group. Come out of this. So if I go here, if I go to MM02, I'll go to a material, or let's do one thing. Let's go to MM60 only. I'll go to MM60. Okay, here you see there is a material group is there. Suppose if I go to material group, I'll enter all the material, I'll search the material groups in the system. Okay, so if I go to the material groups, let me take this one. What do you call electrical supply, or let me take monitor. Let me take, where is it, monitor? Monitor. Or let me take this cable. Okay, or let us take monitor. Where is monitor? Monitor is not showing. Or let's say chemicals, or let's say chemicals. Okay, so all these chemicals, let's say assume a scenario, all these chemicals which are having material group, all these chemical materials are having the same price. Okay, so now instead of maintaining the price for each and info record for each and every material separately, you can create a what do you call info record for a material group also. So what I will show you is, now let's create a brand new info record. So go to M11. Here you enter the vendor. Don't enter the material. Enter purchase organization and plant. Okay. Now enter. Here enter test PIR. Test PIR for material group. Okay. Enter that one. Now see, the moment you don't have material here, it is asking you to enter the material group. So I'll enter the material group. I'll enter the material group as 004. I enter the material group. Enter. Now it will asking you to enter the order unit. I'll enter the order unit as liter. Search term. I'll enter the search term 7999. Enter. Okay, now plant delivery time. It is asking you to enter the plant delivery time. I'll enter the plant delivery time. Now I'll enter some price. So let's say I'll enter the price as 25 INR per liter. Okay, purchasing group. Okay, enter. Done. That's okay. Now you can maintain text also. If you want to maintain text, you can maintain. So we maintained all the data, general data, condition data, and all the other data. Now I am saving this info record. That means we created an info record without reference to any material. We created this info record. Okay, so let's go to change mode. This is an info record we have. Now, when I'm trying to create a PO, when I'm trying to create a PO, ME21 here. When I'm trying to create a PO, what was the vendor? 100649. 100649. Enter purchase org, purchasing group, company code. Okay. Now here, if you scroll to right, here you see there is a option called info record. So when you enter the info record, system will give the details from this info record to the purchase order. It will copy the details from this info record to the purchase order. So select the info record. Now enter here that info record. Of course, you can search from the list also. Now enter. See, all the data got copied from the info record. Okay. Suppose now if you can enter the material, or enter the plant. See, now the price also got copied here. Okay, so this way you can use the purchase info record. You can create a purchase info record for a material group also. Okay, so that way it is possible. Now after this, either you can enter the material code or you can enter the account assignment category. If there is no material, if you are procuring a consumable material, you will maintain the account assignment category, which we discussed in the previous class, which we already discussed. Okay, so you can create an info record for a material group also. That means without any reference to any material, that also possible. Okay, now the next one is price change in the info record. Okay, how to change the prices in the info record. Okay, now let's say currently, let's say you have an info record. Okay, maintained for 2 materials. The price is this one. After certain period, your vendor informed that he is increasing the price by 5%. Normally what we will do, we will go to each and every info record and we will change it manually. Instead of that, you can change the price in the info record at one shot, provided the change percentage is same. That is also can be done. So price change in the info record can be done in in mass. Okay, so this can be done. I'll show you. We have created one info record, right? We have created one info record. I'll create another info records. Just give me 1 minute. What are our vendors? We have created for 100646. We created. I'll create for one more info record for a different vendor. Suppose let's go back. M11 is already there. 100646. It is already there. Now let's create for 100 same material. Achha, sorry, we have to have a different material, right? Vendor. So okay, let's do one thing. Let's take this vendor 100646. 100646. I'll remove this info record. I'll use a different material now. Let me use, just go back. I'll use a different material now. What material we used already? 201. So now let's say I will use 205. 205 I will use. I'll create for a different material. Same vendor is same, different material. Okay, I'm creating info record. Okay, and same. This is also same problem. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, done. Let's me create again brand fresh. It is taking again. Okay, order unit, I'll put it in liter only. Okay, so here I will enter go to conditions. I'll enter the price. Let's say I'll enter the price as 60 INR per liter. 60 INR per liter. Okay, so we have one more info record. So for this material, and for this vendor you have the one is one, and you have same material. Okay, what was a new vendor? What was a new material? 205. 205. What we maintained the price as 50 INR. This was we maintained 50 INR. Okay, and for this combination, what was the price we maintained? Just 1 minute. Let's go to display again. Okay, what was the initial material? 201, right? 201. 646 is the vendor. Okay, go inside. If you go to condition, what was the price? 80 INR. 80 INR. Okay, 80 INR. Now your vendor says after certain period he is going to increase the what do you call, price by 5%. Let's say he told us to increase the price by 5%. Then you can change it in mass. So the transaction code is MEKP. 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 Go to this transaction. Price change involving vendor info record. So enter the purchase order, enter the vendor, enter your materials. My materials are this one. Or if you don't enter the materials also, not a problem. System will read all the info records of this vendor. Okay. Now here condition type. Which condition type you are going to change? PP00. Okay. Now I want to change it by 5%. 5%. Okay. Enter that one. Period you enter. You enter validity period. Okay. Now remove this test run indicator. Remove the test run indicator. Okay. Now just execute. When I execute, system will read all the info records of this vendor and it will change the price by 5%. It will increase the price by 5%. Okay. Plus sign means increase. Here you have see we have maintained plus sign. Plus sign means it will increase the price by 5%. So now let's execute. Please enter gross price indicator or condition type. Okay, sorry. Let's deselect this. Let's deselect this. Okay, and now execute. We have maintained PP00 only, right? PP00, both have PP00. Okay, so now execute. So system is reading the two info records. Now it will increase the price. So now I am saving this. So condition saved. Now let us go and check whether the price has really increased or not. So let's go back. Okay, so first vendor we will check. First vendor and first material we will check. 201. Okay, now if you go inside, go to conditions. See, price is increased by 5%. Initially it was 80 INR. Now it is increased by 5%. It has become 84 automatically. That means we have increased it actually. Okay, now let's check for the next info record. You see this is next info record is 205. 205. If you go to that info record, go to conditions. See, it is increased by 63. We maintained 60. Of course, scale prices I think might be okay. So it is increased by another this thing 5%. So this is how system will increase the price change for the info records. You can increase. Okay. So now the next one we will be discussing is buyer's negotiation sheet. Okay. So what is this buyer's negotiation sheet? So buyer negotiation sheet means for a vendor I want to see all his data, like what is the info records present for him. Okay, what materials can vendor deliver, how good is the vendor, okay, what we have already ordered from this vendor in the recent years, what is my general conditions. All these data if you want to see for a vendor, which is called buyer's negotiation sheet. Okay, that you can see it in the system. It will give you information about particular vendor, everything what we procured so far, okay, what we ordered, what materials we can order, okay, what is its general conditions, everything you will get it from the buyer's negotiation sheet. Okay, so let's go to the buyer's negotiation sheet. The transaction code is ME1X. ME1X. Print buyer's negotiation sheet for vendor. Enter the vendor, enter the plant. Okay, now select the scope of list. select the scope of list as I'll select as maximum scope of list. Select this one. From today's from Jan 2017 onwards it will show. Okay, just I want to see output on screen. You can print also. If you want to print, you can print also. Okay, now just click on the button execute. So it will show you all the information about that particular vendor. Is a vendor name Alliance Global Private Limited. Okay, his conditions, his terms of payment, everything it is showing. Okay, number of deliveries already done. Okay, everything it is showing. Now what for which material we have the info record, it is showing. Okay, your prices, planned delivery time, price, scale prices, everything it is showing. Okay, so information, everything whatever we have, everything it is showing. Whatever the purchase orders we created so far, all those things it is showing. Okay, so this is called buyer's negotiation sheet. You can print this also for your reference. Okay, you will get everything about information about that particular vendor. It is called buyer's negotiation sheet. Okay, so with this we have completed info record. We have completed info record. Okay, now we will start with what do you call contracts. Next one is contracts. Contracts. Okay, outline agreements. Contracts are nothing but outline agreements. Okay, we'll do one thing. We will take 5 minutes break and then we will start again with the outline agreements. We'll take 5 minutes break. Yeah. Okay, we'll start again. So now we'll start next with the outline agreements. Okay. So outline agreements. In these outline agreements, basically you have two things. We have the contracts. We have the contracts. Okay, and you have the scheduling agreement. Okay, contracts means you will have a contract with your supplier for a specific quantity or for a value. That means you have a contract with your supplier that I'm going to purchase this much of quantity. Okay, or somebody please mute us. Some noise is coming. Ramakrishna, please mute.
Uh, I mute. I'm unable to mute myself. Can you mute?
So here you can have a contract with a vendor for a particular period for a quantity, for some quantity. That means I'm going to purchase this much of quantity from you for a period. Or you can have a contract with your vendor for a particular value. That means I'm going to buy materials, I'm going to purchase the materials worth of this much value. So that kind of contract you can have. Okay, that is why they are called outline agreement. You already will have an agreement with your supplier, vendor. Now using these contracts, you will be creating the purchase order. You will be creating the purchase order, which is called contract release orders. Another one is scheduling agreement. So here in the scheduling agreement, you already have with your vendor on which date, how much quantity he has to supply. That information, that data also you can maintain in the scheduling agreement. So these are, we will see these two, contracts and scheduling agreement. Okay. So what is contract? A contract is an agreement between the vendor and customer for the supplier, for the supply of material or services at an agreed price over a specified period of time. So contract is basically agreement between our organization and between our vendor, okay, for a agreed price over a specified period of time. Okay, prices negotiated centrally or represented in the form of centrally agreed contracts. I will show you this in the system. Okay, you can have contract for a single plant. For a single plant, you can have a contract for a single plant, or you can have a contract for a plants covered by the purchasing organization. You can have that. Okay, now again there are two types of contracts: quantity contract, value contract. That means quantity contract means the contract is fulfilled when a stipulated target quantity per contract item is reached as a result of the issue of release orders. So let's say you have a quantity contract, let's say from your vendor around 10,000 liters, let's say. Once these 10,000 liters are procured, you cannot procure more than that. Okay, now let's say you have the value contract. The contract is fulfilled when a stipulated overall target value, total value of all items is reached as a result of the issue of release orders. So let's say you are a contract with your supplier that I am going to purchase 1000 INR worth of material. Now once this value is reached, system will not allow you to do further procurement. That is the value contract. Okay, so there are two types of contracts. So before that, whenever you can create a contract, you can create a contract with reference, you can create manually also. Manually you can create, or by referring to your purchase requisition, request for quotation, or already existing contract, you can create a contract. Now using this contract, you will be creating the purchase order, which are called contract release orders. By using this contract, you will create the purchase orders. Okay. So there, so this is our. So you create a contract. Okay, from this contract, you create the POs on different dates. So let's say you have a contract on a Jan 12, 2008. You created a PO for 1,000 pieces, and on Feb 7th, you create another order for 1,500, and another date you create another order for 2,500 pieces. All these will get updated in your contract. In your contract, you can see all these orders, and you can see what quantity you have ordered so far, Okay, and what is your total target quantity and what is your open quantity. Everything system will show in the contract. This information you can see it in the contract. This I will show it in the system. Okay, so contract, all the release orders documentation you can see it in the contracts. Okay, so basically there are two types of contracts. One is quantity contract, another one is value contract. Quantity is contract is for a total quantity. You specify some quantity from a particular period, so once that quantity is exhausted, system will not allow you to create the further purchase orders. Okay, now for value contract you will enter the value, and here you can have multiple materials also. Okay, but whatever may be the material, total value of materials I am going to purchase is this much. So once this value is reached, system will not allow you to do further procurement. So there are two types of contracts, quantity contract and value contract. So now we will create the contracts in the system. Okay, so let's create contracts. Okay, let us take a fresh brand new material. Let us take what do you call, let's take this one, phosphoric acid. Let's take this material. Okay, now let's create the contract. So first we'll start with quantity contract. Okay, so the transaction code is ME31K. This is a transaction code. Create contract. Enter your vendor. Our vendor, we will use this vendor only. We will use this vendor. Okay, enter the vendor number. Okay, now agreement type. What type of contract you are creating, whether you are creating quantity contract or a value contract. Okay, so I'm creating now, as of now, quantity contract. Select MK. Okay, enter the purchase organization, purchasing group, enter that one. Now here we are going to create this contract specific to this plant. If you don't want to create for a specific to a plant, if you want to create a centralized contract, you can keep this as blank. So contracts can be created in two ways. You can create a centralized one. That means that contract can be applicable to multiple plants. Whereas you can create a contract specific to a particular plant. So if you are creating the contract specific to a plant, on the screen you will enter the plant number. If you are creating a centralized contract, you don't enter any plant here. Keep it blank. You keep this as blank. Okay, so you have these two types of contracts. So now let's do that. Let's create the as of now we will create a plant specific contract, plant 1000. Or let's do one thing, let's create a centralized one. As of now, let's create a centralized one. Now here, if you see on the top, there are two buttons. Either you can create with reference to a purchase requisition or with reference to a request for quotation. As of now, I'm showing you manual creation, or while creating it, you can refer to a already existing purchase requisition or a request for quotation. That is what here. You can create a contract. Manually with reference to a purchase requisition, with reference to a request for quotation, or already existing contract also. This is for that button. Copy document. Okay, so now let's create the contract. Enter. So once you enter the contract, you will go inside. System will give you this pop-up box. So I'll enter the validity end period. So now we have to enter the validity end period in the contract. From which date to which date we are here. You have to enter the validity period. Okay, so I'll enter the validity period as 31/12/2019. Okay, enter that validity period. Enter. The moment you enter, it will take you to this screen. Item overview. Here you enter the material, which material you are going to procure. So let's say I want to procure this one, phosphoric acid. Okay, take that material. Enter the material here. Now enter the quantity. Which you are going to procure. Okay, so enter here target quantity. So let's say I want to procure 10,000 liters, or let's say I want to procure 1,000 liters. 1,000 liters you enter, and you enter the enter. Okay, done. Account assignment mandatory for enter account assignment category. Okay, not a problem. Let enter the price. Price is 10 liter. Okay, done. So now we are creating the, that means I'm going to procure this material 1,000 liters from this vendor. So I'm having an agreement. I am having an agreement. Okay, I am having an agreement. So now here, now select the line item. Select the line item. Now you go to details. Here you go to details. Here you go to details. Here price date category. If you go to this price date category, if you maintain here, I want to system to determine the price based on the delivery date. Delivery date. Okay, so based on the delivery date. So that I will maintain. That I will maintain. Okay. So now here you go to conditions. You go to conditions here. Item conditions. Okay. As of now, from this period to this period, this is the amount. Sorry. Go back. This is the amount from this period to this period. The amount is the price going to be charged is this one. Okay. Now let's say, or I will put it as one more valid date. I'll put it as up to valid till this month 31/07/2018. Okay, I'll put it as let's say 8 INR. So from this period to this period, okay, my price should be 8, and after this period it should be 10 INR per liter. That also you can maintain. Now save it. So now the contract is created. We have created a quantity contract. Now using this quantity contract, okay, you can, what do you call, you can create the release orders. Now another thing is you can maintain the contracts as plant wise also. Plant wise also. Okay, so as of now we have created the contract as a centralized one. So now for each plant, now you can go inside and you can maintain the price. So go to change mode, go inside. Okay, so select it. Okay, go to edit. Okay, plant conditions. Here you see, go to plant condition. As of now, the price is 8 liter per liter. This is common for all plants as of now. From here, you can maintain plant wise also. Okay, so now let's say go to edit, plant condition, overview. Okay, here you enter the plant. Now again you go to conditions. Again you go to item condition. Okay, so now here it is showing the plant. For this plant, my price should be 9 INR. Okay, so now when you create with this plant, the amount will become, the price it will be charging is 9 INR. Whereas other plants it will be charging 8 INR. And after that particular period it is 10 INR that it will charge. So once the contract is created, you can maintain plant wise conditions also. You can maintain. That's what I showed you. Okay, so now go back, now save it. Now this 9 INR is only for this plant, applicable for this plant. Okay, now save it. So now we have created a quantity contract. Now using this contract, you can create the POs directly. So how to create the POs using this contract? So this is what we maintained. As of now. We created a centralized contract first, and for a particular plant, I maintained a separate price. For a particular plant, so that in the In the centrally agreed contracts also, you can maintain plant wise conditions also you can maintain. You maintain by that going to edit and plant conditions. This is what you can do. Okay. So now how to create the orders, how to create the purchase orders from the contract. So let's go to the contract display. Go to the contract display. You have to go to display mode, ME33K. You go display mode, enter, enter. Now here select this. Now go to contract. Here you see there is a follow on function. Follow on function, contract release order. Okay, so you will be creating the, from using this contract, with reference to this contract, you will be creating the POs. So just click on this button, contract release order. So now system will take you to the PO screen. Okay, so you will be going to the create purchase order screen, which we discussed in the previous classes. So now select this, select the item, just click on the button adopt. Now all the data from the contract got copied over here. See, as of now, the price has taken 8 INR because we have not entered any plant. Now the moment I enter plant as 1000, this price will get changed to 9. Okay, I'll enter the quantity. Let's say I'll enter the quantity as 100 liter. Now I'm entering the plant. The moment I enter the plant, you see how the price will change. I entered the plant, enter. See, the price got changed to 9 automatically. Why the price got changed to 9? For that specific plant, the price we wanted as 9 INR. That's why it got changed automatically. Are you there? All the people, Poonam, are you there? Poonam, are you there? Santosh, Satish.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yeah, understanding the concepts. Understanding the concepts, right? The moment I entered the plant, it changed the price to 9 INR. 9 INR. Previously, it copied general price. It copied. Okay. So now we are creating the PO for 100. Total agreed quantity was 1000. Now, as of now, we are issuing the PO for 100 liter. So now you save the purchase order. This is how we using the contract you will be creating the purchase order. So whatever you create, now I'll create one more. Now I'll create one more. Let's go to the contract again. ME33K. I'll go to the contract again. This is my contract. Enter. Again, I'll create one more release order, contract release order. Okay, I'll create one more. Put the cursor on the item. Click on the button adopt. Adopt. Everything will get copied to the PO. I enter the plant again. Enter. Price will get changed to 9. Okay, now this time I'm issuing one more release order for, let's say, 150 liter. So using the contract, I issued 2 release orders, 2 POs. Now I am saving this. Okay, now all these release orders, you can see it in the contract. In the contract, you can see all the POs which are released. Okay, so how to see that? So go to ME33K again. Go to ME33K, go to your agreement. So select it, go to item, header, just 1 minute, go to item. Sorry, go to item, here, go to item, statistics, go to item statistics. Here you see, there is an option called release documentation. Here you see, release documentation. So if you go inside, see, as of now, we created 2 POs using that contract. These are the 2 POs. One is for 100 liter, another is for 150 liter. Total quantity issued is 250 liter. Okay, and as of now, released till date is 250 liter. Our total quantity, we had the agreement with the vendor is 1000, and the open quantity is still 750. That information you can see it in the contract. This is what I am showing you. This is what I am showing. Okay, so like this you can see all the POs, all the release orders created with reference to that contract. You can see it in the contract, in the release documentation. Again, I am showing you the path. Go to item, statistics, release documentation. Release documentation. Here you can see. Okay, so that is the one. So now let's create the next one. Next one is the value contract. Quantity contract I have shown you. Now I will show you the value contract. Okay, so value contract, same thing. Transaction code remains the same. ME31K, ME31K. Enter the vendor. Okay, now agreement type will change. Now the agreement type will be WK. Value contract. We already created quantity contract. Now we will be creating value contract. Select the value contract. Okay, remove, as of now I'll remove the plant. Enter. Now validity end. You enter the validity end. Now you see the moment we selected value contract, see the target value has become mandatory. Target value has become mandatory. Okay, so now enter some value. So let's say you have agreement with the vendor that I am going to purchase materials of worth 10,000 INR. 10,000 INR. So you have it. Now here you enter the materials what you are going to purchase. So I'll enter some materials here. Let's say I want to procure phosphoric acid. Okay, I want to procure, let's say I want to procure 100. Okay, not a problem. Let's say I'll enter some price. Okay, this one I'll enter one more material. Now it is a value contract, right? So you can enter multiple materials also. So I'll enter some sulfuric acid. Okay, enter this one. This I want to have an agreement for this thing. Price you can enter. Okay, like this you can have. Okay, like this you can enter the multiple material. Okay, so all that, whatever the price it is values, you can enter all these things. Once all the materials entered everything, you can save the contract. So this is how you can create a value contract also. Value contract. Okay, now using this contract, you will be issuing the release orders, purchase orders you will be issuing to the vendor, supplier. Okay, so basically these contracts are like a agreement with the vendor, with your supplier, that I will purchase specific quantity, or I will purchase materials of quantity of this much of worth. So that agreement you will have. So that accordingly you will create the orders and you will issue the orders to the supplier. That is what called contracts. Contracts, quantity contract and value contract. Okay, so now the next one we will be discussing is contracts creating for the item categories M and W. M and W. Okay, I'll show you this. What is this M and W? So item category, we already discussed in our previous class what is item category. Item category. Item category here, M means you have set up a contract with your vendor covering various types of writing paper. So in your company you use various writing paper, lined, squared, blank, etc. Okay, and but the different types of paper have same weight, same quality and same price. But you don't know the material number when you are creating the contract item. So when you are having the contract with your supplier, you don't know what material exactly you are going to produce. But all those materials have the same price, because more or less they are same kind of material. So that time you create a contract with item category M. Okay, so now another one is with item category W. W means you have set up a contract with your vendor for various types of cable. Let's say you have a cable, different cables are there. Now this contract is to cover all types of cables included in the price list. So now let's say in your company you have different types of cables, different types of cable will have different price. Now instead of creating contract for each cable material, you can have a single contract created with item category W. Okay, but exact cable will be determined when you create the purchase order for a certain cable from that contract. So when you create a purchase order from that contract, you will enter the actual material number. Okay, so that is the item category W. So you can create a contract with item category M and item category W also. So let's create that. Okay, so let's go back. So let's create a Again, create contract. We are on the same screen. Now enter your vendor. Enter your vendor. Now this kind of contracts you can create only for value contract. Quantity contract you cannot create because you don't know the material number. So select value contract, WK. Enter the purchase org, purchasing group. Now you can, I'll enter plant also now. At this stage now I'll enter the plant. Now I'll enter the plant. Okay. Now you enter. It is asking validity end date. Enter the validity end date. Now enter your target value. I'll enter the target value is 10,000 INR. Done. Enter the target value. Now you are on the item screen. You are on the item screen. Okay. So here, now select your item category. Item category is material unknown. Material unknown. Okay, I don't know the material. Okay, so now enter short text like writing papers. You enter the short text, writing papers. Okay, now enter the price. Let's say 12 INR. Okay, enter order unit. Okay, pieces I will enter. Enter. It is asking you to enter the material group. Just 1 minute. Let me enter some material group. Paper. Any paper is there? Let's do one thing. Let's enter anything. It doesn't make much difference. Let's say office material. I will enter. Okay, I entered that. Enter. Okay, so I am going to purchase all kind of papers from this vendor for this price. Okay, so that value I'm creating here. When I'm having this contract, I don't know what is the exact material I'm going to purchase. That is why we are entering with item category here. Now the next one item category is W. W means material group. W means material group. So I take the material group, enter here. Let's say I'll enter as cables. I will enter as cables. Okay, enter the cable. Now here you enter the material group. Okay, so now let's say I'll enter the material group as 00105. I enter the material group, enter. Okay, done. Here no need to give the price. It will take from the material. It will take from the material master price. So okay, done. Okay, all done. Now you save the contract. You save the contract. Okay, so now your contract has got created. Now go to display. Go to display. Go to display. Now using this new contract, now let us create the release order. Let's create a purchase order. So now go follow on functions, contract release order. So click on that. Okay, so now you will go to the screen. Okay, now there are two items. Because there are two items, select the first item, adopt. Okay, it will get copied. Now I'll adopt the second one also. Okay, put the cursor on the second item, click on the button adopt. It will copy both ones here. Now you can enter the material here. Now when I'm giving the PO, now I know the material code, which paper exactly I am trying to buy. Okay, now that material code you enter here. Okay, so now let's say I am purchasing with any paper. Okay, paper description. Paper, I'll search with paper. Any material having description with paper. Just 1 minute. Okay, let's say this paper. Now I know the material code. Now you can enter the material code. And now you enter the quantity. Let's say I'm going to purchase 100. Enter that one. So for that enter, not maintained in plant 1000. Material is not maintained in plant 1000. Just 1 minute. Let me enter some other material. Material by supply area. Okay. No material. Okay, let me enter any some other material as of now. Okay, let me enter any material as of now. Some demo for exhaust pipe, something I'll enter as of now because the material is not there. Okay, I can enter the like this. I can enter the material. Okay, cannot be converted. It's a different unit of measure. That's okay. So now you enter the material for the cables. It's a material group, right? You enter the price. You enter the price quantity for cables because it's a material group. So you enter the quantity and it will take the enter the price and then you save the purchase. From this you will be creating the you will be saving the purchase order. So when you are having the contract with the supplier, you don't know what material you are going to procure. Okay, so during that kind of period you use this item category M and item category W's. That's what you will use. That's what you will use here. This is our item category M, that means material unknown. Material unknown. So when you are creating the contract, you create the contract with item category M and you enter the quantity and you enter the price. So whenever now you are creating the release order, either you can enter the material, exact material now you know, or you can create with, of course, cost center also. That also you can do. Account assignment category. Now, whereas in case of item category W, material group, there are some materials belonging. There are some materials belonging to same material group. All these materials you have, all these materials belong to same material group. So you create with item category W, you give it. Now, when you are creating the actual contract release order, you can enter the exact material. You know, that is also possible. That is also possible, provided all these materials belong to the same material. Okay, so this is how you can create a contract with item categories M and W, material unknown or for a material group. This is also you can. Okay, so now the next one is scheduling agreement. So we have covered contracts. Now the last one is scheduling agreement, source of supply, in source of supply. So what is this scheduling agreement? Okay, a scheduling agreement is a long-term arrangement with a vendor covering the supply of materials subject to predetermined condition. So here you will have an arrangement with the vendor, and at the same time you will give on which date which quantity he has to supply. The conditions are valid for a predefined period and a predefined total purchase quantity. Okay, so using scheduling agreements enables you to reduce processing times and the amount of paperwork within your enterprise. So you know how much quantity you need on which date. Already you know. So that exact quantity and date on which he has to deliver, that you will put it in the scheduling agreement. Okay. So basically here your vendors have long-term service commitments which enable them to negotiate more favorable conditions with respect to their vendors, and this benefits you in terms. So instead of creating PO each and every time, you initially give the schedule to the vendor on which date, how much quantity he has to deliver. That's what. So here you see, you create a scheduling agreement. You create a scheduling agreement with your vendor, and in that scheduling agreement, you maintain the delivery schedule also. On which date, how much quantity he has to deliver. That everything you will be giving to him. So you will have a what you call delivery period also. You will give it to him. That's what will happen. That's what will happen. Okay. So you create a scheduling agreement, and with that scheduling agreement, you will give the delivery schedule to him. So I'll show you that now how to create this scheduling agreement. So let's go to the system. Okay. So the transaction code is ME31L. ME31L. Create scheduling agreement. Enter the vendor. This is my vendor. Okay. Agreement type. Let me take normal LP scheduling agreement. Scheduling agreement I will take. Okay. You can enter the purchase org, purchasing group, plant, everything you can enter. Enter. Now enter. Give the validity end date. Give the validity end date. Okay. Enter. It will take you to the item. What material you want to procure. Let me take a new material. I will take this one, sugar. I'll take the sugar material now. Okay. So enter the material code. Let's say I want to procure 1000 okay, into plant. This one, enter the price. So everything entered. Okay, now once this is entered, you save your first scheduling agreement. So we have an agreement that I am going to purchase 1000 bags of this sugar, 1000 bags for a particular period. Already an agreement. Now save the scheduling agreement. Now once the scheduling agreement is created, now you can give it to the vendor on which date, how much quantity he has to supply among that 1000. Okay, so what you do, you go to the transaction. Let's go to the scheduling agreement, change mode, take the scheduling agreement, copy this. Now you go to a transaction called ME38. Maintain scheduling agreement schedule. This is the one. So you enter the scheduling agreement here. Now you go inside, select the line item. Here you see there is a button, delivery schedule. That means this 1000 on which date, how much quantity he has to deliver. That also you will give it here. So just select that line item, go to delivery schedule, click on that button. Now here you will maintain the date and the quantity. So let's say after 2 days, let's say on Monday 23rd, on 23rd he has to deliver, let's say 100. Enter. I entered, done. Now after another 2 days, 23rd, after on 26th he has to deliver another 500. Okay, so total quantity, cumulative quantity is 600. Now let's say after another 26th, right? Let's say on next month on 30th he has to deliver another 200. Okay, so total cumulative quantity is 800. Now let's say after on the 3rd Friday he has to deliver remaining 200. So like this you will give a schedule to him on which date, how much quantity he has to deliver. So system automatically in the background, when I save, it will create a PO. It will create a special kind of PO with scheduling agreement. I will show you that. Now let us save this. So I saved this. Okay, so now if you go to scheduling agreement, we already maintained. It will say already maintained. Let's go to the overview. What is this material, right? So system in the background automatically will create a PO for that schedule lines. Okay, if you go to MD04 screen, that material sugar, see, it has created 4 schedule lines. The schedule line is nothing but one type of PO. It is like a one type of purchase order. Instead of creating the PO on that particular date separately, you can create from the scheduling agreement, you can trigger that. That's what you maintain here. So 4 schedule lines we create. Okay, so that is what called scheduling agreements. Okay, so with this we have completed source of supply. So whenever you are creating a purchase order, you can refer to these documents. One is purchase info record, which we discussed, or you can refer to a outline agreement. Again, this outline agreement, we have 2 types: contracts and scheduling agreements. So that is what we discussed. So these are the source of supply. Whenever you are creating the PO, you can read to these documents. You have the option of reading to these documents, either purchase info record or to your outline agreements. Nothing but there are 2 types of outline agreement: contracts and scheduling agreement. Again, in these contracts you have 2 types. One is quantity contract, okay. Another one is value contract. This already we created, value contract. So this one we have. Okay, so with this we are done with the, what do you call,